This episode is brought to you by Politica. You win when the right people hear you. Give us a call at 917-742-6342. And now, the Live Your Dreams podcast. Here we are. Welcome back to another episode of the Live Your Dreams podcast. We are very excited today. We have on an incredible individual. Chris, we have been very fortunate to make some really good guests on this show lately.
I know. This is another excellent guest. It's amazing.
This young man is incredible. He is really an entrepreneur building his brand. He is a rap artist, a musician. He can really do it all. We are welcoming to the Live Your Dreams podcast, Auspiddit.
Haha, thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me. It's an incredible journey to be meeting different people and to be sitting on this couch now.
No. It's our pleasure having you. And really, I'm telling you, Flory introduced us. She said nothing but such good things about you.
Thank you.
And then
what an intro.
Oh, I mean,
we met you. I mean, I got to tell you what the house.
You deserve it. Look what you're doing. I mean, what's really impressive is not only, we'll get into your music and your journey in that world,
right,
but you are really an entrepreneur. You are doing it all. I mean, you talked about your merchandise. You're getting out there, you're hustling, you're moving merchandise, you're building your brand. You're turned your career into a brand, which I think in 2023 is what you need to do. If you're an artist and you're not a brand at this point, you're in some trouble.
Absolutely. It's funny, there's a lot of people that, especially like you're saying today, in today's age, music is one of those things that everybody wants to do because it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves music. It's the thing that kind of carries the next person to the job, to the even to go to sleep. So I feel a responsibility to just love the music that I do and to bring it to people that will, resonate with what I say.
No, if you can't sing, you can dance. I mean, I can't sing, but at least I can dance.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you, especially in our medium of film, we work in film a lot.
Yeah.
Music makes the entire movie. I'll just say. Music is a universal art form that I think any language can understand. Everybody can relate to music. No matter where you're from, music brings us really all together. I think it's the most powerful medium in an art form.
Right. What is that you're saying this? So I did this class one time. So I used to work at a country club, and I did this class. I wasn't supposed to, but I sat in on a class while they were kind of had a projector screen. They were filmmakers, and they were talking about how. So I kind of do my music releases like how films are, horror films, for example. So like the music will get quiet, and then it'll kind of give you like little connotations here and there to tell you like what's gonna come next, It's kind of prepping you like it's coming, and then all of a sudden at that one moment, the boom, like you get the scare, the jump scare.
Yeah.
I kind of try to release music in that way, where it's like you tell the people it's coming. I got this coming. I have my album that's coming on November 17th, this Friday.
Nice.
And it's like trying to get people to get to the product or get to that one moment. It's been fun to get them there, to be like, here's the song. All right, here's the little content. Here's this is an important piece being here on this couch. So thank you.
No, it's
called Seven.
Seven.
Yeah, the number 7, but I spelled it S-E and then the number 7 E-N.
No, that's great, man. And we'll obviously get your social medias out there later, but you can see you got a lot of great followers looking at your content. Let's go back to you at the beginning. Let's talk about when we talk about music and storytelling, right? Because music is storytelling. You're doing a great job with it. What brought you, a young man, you're sitting there way back as a young, was it when you were a child? What said to you one day, this is what I want to be, this is where I want to bring my future? What brought you into this medium, into this art form?
So, all right, it's kind of multi-layered. So the first thing is my brother is somebody who is an incredible artist. Shout out to my brother, Just. He is like, so you see somebody in your family that's doing something. You listen to artists over time. I think I was about 8 to 9 years old when I started listening to music. Heavily, like all the mainstream songs. And then, I would kind of hear him writing his own lyrics with his friends outside, doing shows and things of that nature. So once I kind of saw that, and I kind of just realized it was possible, I wasn't just looking at Lil Wayne and listening to him and being like, I'm never going to get there. I'm seeing somebody that's in my house that's penning things that are fairly, rivaling with it. So I'm like, oh man, I can do this too. So I think 8 years old, I was like, kind of having premonitions. I would go into class, they ask us, what do you want to be? And we would like go outside, take a picture on the tree, and I wrote rapper, and here's my class writing battle raps with my friends. We didn't even know what we were doing. And I kind of let it go for a while. I wanted to be a football player, actually. I wanted to be a running back, but clearly my physique needs more running back material to it. So I decided that around freshman year that music was the thing to really like. It was capturing my soul, man. It was just exactly what I could express myself. And actually, no, not for nothing. I wanted to be an actor too. I was doing.
That's great.
I would get like lead roles for plays and things like that. But I decided that it's not that I couldn't be myself, but I felt to put myself at the forefront was what just made my soul spark. So yeah, I wanted to do music around freshman year, and then my brother was still doing it at the time. He still is now. So I got to hang with his friends. I luckily got to sit with people that were so much better than me.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I kind of had the rapper fast forward button because, you know, a lot of people have to sit, listen to their favorites, and then take that and then figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to, you know, they emulate a little bit, try to figure out what their reins are. I had the luxury of sitting with people who were like, okay, you know, there's not really a right or wrong way to do this, but if you try this way, it will catch the listener better. Mm-hmm. Or if you do this like this, hey, buddy, you're doing too many pockets here. Like, you might want to slow it down. And I got that luxury. So, I would say that freshman year was the year that I was, like, getting pummeled by rappers who are way better than me. And then eventually, like, 2 years into it, I was like, oh, I'm catching up. We're doing songs together, and they sound great. And, or at least at my 17-year-old mind, I was like, this is amazing. Like, listening back now, like,
I like what you said in the beginning about it's possible. Yeah. You know, the fact that someone else did it, you don't feel like alone, like, oh, maybe I can't do it. Someone else did it, maybe I can do it. Right. Yeah, I am possible. There is no impossible.
Yeah, I was lucky too. The guy looked like me, you know, so I'm like, oh.
You know, that actually says a lot about your maturity and how much you wanted this, because a lot of young artists, everybody's an ego, especially when you're younger, right? Your ego kind of gets a little bit better as you get older and you start getting more mature. But some people may have taken that advice the wrong way at that age. When somebody comes and see, there you go, right? Is it right? Yeah.
I think the past 5 years was my ego death.
Sure. Yeah.
I really looked inside of myself and I was like, people don't really want to hang around me, you know, like, or I play a song for them and they're like wanting to critique me and I'm taking it so personal because I have married this idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, a lot of times, especially now, I collaborated on this album that's coming out with a homie of mine. I usually do all the production myself, mixing and mastering myself. When I kind of play the back a little bit and I can just be the artist or, you know, put on the different hat, I think that's what really makes the person, not just the artist, you know, because I don't have to sit there and reach for every single idea myself. You know, I like to have somebody in the studio to be like, what if you did this? And I can sit with it for a minute and go, what? Let me try that. And this project had a lot of that, honestly.
No, yeah.
I love what you said about killing the ego. I mean, that's great advice for any one of us out there, because at that point you were able to realize that, you know what, if someone says something to me, right, they critique your song. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't mean that I did something wrong. That's maybe if I feel like that, if I get that feeling, listen to that, maybe there's something I know I can do better or work on. Not that they critique me that it's bad, it's that maybe it could be better.
Right. It is the resistance of those feelings that we tend to get sometimes when somebody may say something that's uncomfortable or, you know, out of the ordinary, because I know a lot of us, we probably don't enjoy negativity. So it's like we can interpret things as negativity when they could be positive for us.
Sure.
Constructive criticism, but a lot of times that constructiveness, people twist it up.
No, and it's so easy because, again, I think to be an artist at any form of the world, if you're a painter, a musician, an actor, you do need to have a bit of an ego. Yeah, get into this business. You do have to have this kind of insane amount of self-belief in yourself to be able to do this, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this at all. So it's a very like thin line we have to kind of walk on to be able to get away from that. And I'm so glad you said that, you know, it took you time as well, because so many people listening and young artists, young entrepreneurs, young people that are reaching for their dreams have to realize it is okay to have a little bit of that ego, but learn how to tone that down, learn how to take other advice. But that doesn't mean to take every piece of advice and just be like, you're correct and I'm wrong. Right. It's finding that great balance in between that's really important.
The awareness and the discernment to be able to look at yourself and say, okay, I do have knowledge on me. Other people might as well. You know, I actually learn from everything. Little children teach me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Times when I'm feeling uptight, just look at a child, you know, they'll just be like, you know, they're just running around, you know, enjoying whatever is in front of them, pots and pans and
they're in the moment. They're in the moment. Yeah. They're lost in the moment. And a lot of times when I'm working, especially with actors, we'll say that, you know, if you were a child Will you be on set staring? You'd be in the moment. You'd be playing with your toys. You'd be in the moment. You wouldn't be looking at all the lights or nervous what everybody around you thinking. And I'm sure when you're on stage, you have to turn that on and be like, I'm in this moment and not try to concern yourself with all these people
Absolutely
watching you.
That's it. What's the saying? See the audience in their underwear.
That's a classic one.
I don't want to. I tend to just, it's my moment. A lot of times we get caught up in the person's thinking this. They're yawning or they're walking away. It's like, as long as you keep your energy the way that it needs to be, it's gonna shine. It's gonna shine through. It'll either give that one person in the back that moment that they need. I think that's what's most important too.
Sure.
I've had shows that were incredible, raving, screaming fans, and I've had the hole in the wall show that 10 people are at, and there's always that one person that walks up to you after and they're like, I really appreciate what you said.
Yeah.
And usually it's not the song, it's what I say in between my set when I have time, to be able to say this is the reason I made this song. This is for you, not me. This is our moment together. I like to go straight for the human when I talk to any type of crowd, because it not only makes me feel comfortable on stage, but yeah, it makes them feel like, wow, this artist is, because think about it, people want to buy, people love music, right?
Yeah.
They'll consume it, but what really makes them a fan of you, or it's the person. It's not, they could hear a song from me all day and be like, oh, it's a cool song. But there's cool songs everywhere, It's the cool person that they want to feel like.
You're 100% right, and I think a lot of people would not understand it. It's what they call the it factor. When you hear that, they have it or they got it.
Right.
Some people have that in life. You have that charisma that can connect to another human being. It doesn't mean being the loudest or the biggest person in the room.
Absolutely.
It's a self-confidence in yourself, the way you're portraying who you are. You are you no matter where you're going to be. Mm-hmm. That's what's important about it. And you could be either quiet, shy, loud. It doesn't make a difference.
Right.
It's am I proud to be who I am? People will see through you in 2 seconds.
Right.
Especially on stage, especially when a camera's on you. They'll be like, this guy's full of it.
People size you up constantly when they first meet you. They want to say, what's this person about? Who are they? And it's like, once you kind of remove that, everybody's got that same kind of connection.
Yeah.
There.
It's confidence and it's loving what you're going to do. Now, fast forward a little bit. You're in high school. You're starting to really get your feet wet. You're really taking the music thing serious at this point. When was your first time you said, what, I'm going to cut a CD or an album. I'm going to go out there and try to make something happen. I'm going to do a live show. When did that start happening?
It actually started at 15.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Because of what I was watching around me.
Sure.
I was watching my brother make a project, and he had mixtapes he was handing out to people.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? Let me put a mixtape together so I have a piece of work.
Sure.
I had a friend that was at the time doing photography in my classroom. So I was like, hey, can you take a picture of me? Help me make my cover,
Yeah.
And it was cool. He made my cover for me. And I think that what really made it exciting at that time for me was that it was so new. And it was like, wow, there's this thing that I'm chasing. I felt like I was already signed.
Yeah.
It's like you're just doing these things that out of the fun of life, And then now as I'm kind of coming into my own, I realize I still have that same spunk. I just have to pay attention to it because life gets in the way, your thoughts, your emotions, whatnot. So yeah, I think it was about 15 where I was like blind, completely like, let's do this. I don't even care, man. Like, put $5 behind this. Let's get it.
Yeah. Get it done.
You collaborated with a friend. You have his artwork being shown also through you.
Right.
You're connecting.
And it was amazing too. And he's out doing big things right now. So
that's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that you meet along the way that help you, that branch off and find different things that they love doing. They start off as this, but then they end up, I always feel like rap is the vehicle for me to do something else, possibly, And it's not that I don't love it. It's like, it used to wake me up in the morning to be like, oh, I'm going to be a rapper and I'm going to have money and cars and women. And it's like, now it's like, you can have those things.
Sure. Yeah, no.
I have that already. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I have, a car that drives. I wake up in the morning and I can still use my senses and walk, that's the real luxury to me. All that other materialistic, those things are going to come. It's a part of the journey of just being a specific kind of person that you would like to be, a positive person, Once you decide that that's what you want for yourself, everything just kind of conspires in that favor. And that's why that person, at 15, I was like, I want to do this. Everything was like, all right, you want to do this? Fine. Your buddy's in class. Go talk to him. Go do that. So I was doing, shows here and there. I remember my first show actually I did was in Hamden, Connecticut at the Space. And it was the staff and my 3 siblings.
There you go, right?
My 2 siblings,
yeah,
my
yeah,
brother and my
yeah.
sister, and then my friends that I call my brothers. Yeah, they were there.
No, you performed. You didn't go home.
I was packed up and like I was in front of
Hey, why not, right? Exactly.
You never like,
Yeah.
hey, walk in.
and you know, today too is the content world today.
Yes.
So it doesn't even matter who's there, just get the video.
You know, you're so right. And that's what's so beautiful for content creators and people trying to break into the business nowadays. You just nailed it. This is the first time in history that it doesn't matter who your live audience is. It doesn't matter who your initial audience is. You can make something and you can get 4 views.
Right.
And then you go viral 2 years later and all of a sudden something hits. It's incredible the opportunities that are in front of content creators now. It's really, I mean, because, you know, I was coming up in the early 2000s when there was none of that. I mean, YouTube was in its infancy. Nobody was making anything on it. You weren't monetized at that point, you know, and people didn't even know what that really was. You know, I remember we used to watch YouTube. We just call it like, oh, let's go watch clips. You know, we didn't know it really wasn't a thing at that point.
It was just clips.
It was just clips, and that's all it was. And so now to have that kind of avenue to be able to get your films out there or your music out there, it's so impressive that people can do that. And there's so many great budding artists it's amazing. I'm so grateful to be living in this time period now. It's like,
I said that the other day. It's amazing to live now.
isn't it really? I mean, yeah.
Advanced. You know, it's going to continue to get more advanced in this world, but like the luxury of sitting in your home and making your content and putting it out to the world and not knowing who it's affecting, and it could be amazing. It can be an amazing effect. You could get flown out because somebody's sitting in their house and they're like, "Oh, I need to talk to this person."
Yeah,
you know,
and you hear that happening. I mean, that constantly happens, which is incredible. Yeah. And the collaboration, you're finding other artists online on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, you know, YouTube. That's beautiful because it was so hard to get. I mean, him and I were blessed. We met 10 years ago through an actor, and he was a pretty big actor, introduced the two of us. Yeah. But I mean, it's so rare to meet people like that. Now people are collaborating. Oh, I saw your video. Let's collaborate. Let's make something.
It is.
We couldn't do that then. I mean, it was really rare. We got lucky in a at a network or a restaurant in New York, or for you two should work together.
Right.
I mean, now you just go, oh yeah, I like your stuff. DM the person you're collaborating. It's incredible.
Yeah. It is amazing. This company that I work with, Hard Drive, HRDRV is how they spell it. So they're they're a record label, but they're the world's first subscription-based community.
Oh wow.
Label. Yeah. So I pay into it, and I always am in studio sessions that are on Zoom, and we're remote recording, sending in our stuff, getting it mix and master, sending it back. Collaborations constantly, Saw factor, you know?
Sure.
And the people that I've been meeting, you know, being on Zoom is amazing because I get to still communicate with these people. It's not like, you know, I'm randomly trusting in their photography and looking at their face on their page, and I'm like, all right, do I, trying to size them up by looking at the page? To be able to have communication, and that's actually why this album is happening, because a good friend of mine had a producer, and she was like, dude, you need to meet this guy. Like, he is awesome. He is just like us. He's this, he's part of our soul tribe.
Yeah.
And then we got in a group text, and I was like, all right, cool, we're friends now.
Why not? Let's do it. Yeah.
And that's really what created the back and forth of like, hey, here's a beat, and I was like, all right, let me, I sat on the beat for a while, and I was like, I don't know, man, because I make beats too.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know if it's my style. I did it anyways after a while because I was kind of like in a place where I was just creating.
Sure.
2 months later, so I was like, all right, let me just send this to this guy. He loved it, and shout out to my producing buddy Carlicio Keys. That's who produced my entire project, and he is.
When I was looking at your Instagram, he's a very impressive guy. I saw you have him tagged. He seems to be a very impressive individual. That's great.
Yeah, he's a positive individual. His piano skills are ridiculous.
That's great. Yeah,
ridiculous. And his production is more than just like, oh, I make beats, and we would have calls, and he would be like, so what are you trying to get at with this? Because there's certain. I wanted to make it my debut album. I wanted it to feel like this is what a mainstream artist would sound like if it were me.
Sure. Yeah.
And also I wanted to make certain pieces of it that were so content heavy as far as, how do I put this? Like deep, I guess we could say deep thought, but it was more like, I want to heal the world in a way, right? So I think that a lot of the content in hip hop has to do with things that are not so healing.
Sure. Does that, I mean, I was going to ask you about the name 7, where that came from. Does that have any
like
religious background?
not necessarily, but it can. So I'm more spiritual than anything. I used to be very religious. Now I'm more so. I want to see I focus on the similarities of all religions and all people.
Sure.
That's kind of my thing. So 7 definitely is, they say, is God's number. So that's why I love that. And it happened in a way that was divine like that. Because so we thought of, we called it 7 because I did it in a week. So
nice.
Yeah, he was sending me.
That's great.
He sent me a beat. So the one I was saying I sat on for 2 months, and I was like, I don't know. I sent it back to him. He was like, no, this is good. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
He's like, we should do something else. So on hard drive, they have a website where you can just kind of sift through beats. And so I clicked 2 of his, and I was like, these are more up my alley. Let me try this. So I sent those to him, 2 in a day, and he was like, I'm making you a project, man. This is great.
That's good. No, that's great. Yeah.
I was like, let's go, man. And it happened in a week. He was just like, every day he was like, check this out. And I was like, oh my God, it's crazy, man. Like,
Oh, that's great.
I felt like that kid again. I was running around in the studio room. I was like, oh, it's just great, you know? And then after that, I wanted to, so now we have, okay, it's 7. It was a week. We did it. Then as the meat and potatoes of it were done, I was like, now we need to add like little, just things that will bring out the song, bring out the content, bring out the idea of 7. So there's a song on there called Before the War, and it's just like outlining my dysfunction that I had as a child at home.
Sure.
And I was 7. It was a lot of times 7-year-olds, they kind of start that cognitive, you know, I'm my own person kind of thing. What's going on? Asking the questions, seeing what they like and don't like.
Sure.
So I kind of outlined that to show that as a 7-year-old getting older, you know, you want to shed those childish, I guess, angry feelings as a child, and you want to kind of put yourself in a place of, kind of how we were saying earlier, you want to shed that ego and really look at what the problem is. And everybody just has certain pains in their life that they're just trying to figure out, and sometimes we project on others. And I wanted to show that you could have that type of a scenario and still come out the person you want to be. You just have to look at where it started from, so that way you can be able to shed that ego and do things like that. So my cover is me, you know, jumping, like looking enlightened, like something is coming down to me, because I felt like that song specifically is going to outline.
That's beautiful.
The good news is some of the strongest people I know have gone through the most obstacles and, you know, things that worked against them when they were younger.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And, you know, it says a lot about you, because we've actually met at an empowering event.
Right.
Yeah.
Through Flory. She's fantastic. People can look in the links below. We'll have links to all and everything she's doing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But that says so much about you, because we met at events where you're trying to better yourself.
Yeah.
You're trying to take self-inventory, look at what some of your faults are, some of your strengths are, and become a better human being. That says so much about you, that even within your music, you're always trying to portray that. That shows a lot about your character as a person. Now, did you find yourself, once you opened up, and it sounds like you did, once you started being more positive in life, saying, you know what, even though this beat may not be for me, I'm going to try it anyway. You started saying yes to opportunities, as opposed to saying, you know, it's not for me, forget it, I don't want to do it.
Right.
You know, being closed off. Once you started that kind of paradigm shift in your mind, did you find things start to line up for you sooner than later, right?
Yeah, hands down. And it's still happening right now.
Sure.
It's incredible to see how and I was just talking to a buddy about this, once you shift your mindset to abundance instead of scarcity, everything just falls in your lap. And it's weird. You know, people think it's airy-fairy, but it's not. It's
Yeah, no, you're definitely, we all met said it, right? We all believe in this, right? So no, you're right. You're 100% right. If you're going to be negative and looking for the reason nothing will work out, you're going to find every reason why it won't work. You know, and you're going to attract those people, because there's a lot more people like that that are out there trying to cause problems, or, you know, don't go for it. It's a waste of your time. When you surround yourself with like-minded individuals that actually care and actually want to propel success and positivity, you find things happen a lot sooner. And it's a lot more enjoyable, too, being around positive people. Than
I was just listening to Abraham Hicks, and she was saying that a lot of people, probably all of the people that have been successful, didn't do it in the time frame they wanted it.
No.
It happened later because they had all the things in life that were just taken away from them, being that positive gauntlet, really. Like, you know, you can catapult yourself forward with a different mindset. And a lot of times things were holding me back, you know, negative friends, putting myself in different scenarios that were negative, thinking terribly about myself when really, like, you know, we all have worthiness. We all are in a place of if you put yourself in a place of receptiveness, you will receive.
No, you're 100%. And I think you said it too, where maybe we're not ready at certain points of our lives. I mean, talking about getting put in negative situations, they're emotionally or even stupid things that young people do.
Right.
You know, if you're a young entrepreneur or a young artist and you find success too quickly and you're not at a mature point in your life yet, you can quickly implode from within. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, so, yeah.
Oh,
So,
18 thinking that I should have been signed already. I would have had it all figured out.
Yeah.
Now at 27, 28 in 2 months, so 10 years later, I'm like, no, they would have chewed me up, spit me out, man.
wouldn't have been that, right? Yeah.
My mind now is I can have discernment. I can hear the advice from the person that, yes, they might be the most successful person in the entire world, but I have to hear what their intentions are and what their feelings are. You know, a lot of people are cutthroat.
Yeah.
They disrespectfully step their way to the top, you know, and I don't think that there's not a negative repercussion to that.
No. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And what's incredible is the fact that, you know, I think that's a strong age, a 27, 28, 29 age, because you're young enough to have a lot of the energy in the world. You're old enough to have some experience. You know, it's a really great place to kind of be. It was so impressive. There's so many, especially now. I loved being at Flory's event. There was a lot of people in that age range that were younger than you that were in there. People in their early 20s or 19-year-olds.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
I know. I mean, that's so quick, right? I mean, the fact that the people now are open to having their mindset change, and I think it's about communication in the world of the internet. People are learning more. They're more open. You can find communities now that you can be comfortable in. It's incredible.
it is.
I mean, because I don't think 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when we were those ages, I don't think I would be doing that at 19. You know, right? So,
Definitely
like,
wasn't.
yeah, no, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And it goes to show what Flory tried to do there. It's really impressive. And the people that are around there is fantastic.
Flory's amazing too.
Oh, she's great. Oh, yeah.
I had a conversation with Flory. You know, she really has young energy herself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's really what helps bridge the gap too, because younger people see how amazing her energy is, and there's really tired young people now.
Yeah.
Like, people are burnt out ridiculously, and I don't think it's necessarily a workload thing. I think it's more of like an overstimulation.
She's an overstimulator. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, Laura, she makes it very clear and concise. She's like teaching you how to fish.
Yeah.
You know, she's giving you an instruction manual on how to do this step by step, how to navigate through life.
Instead of just closing your eyes and trying to think your way through things, you know, she's given a guideline to be able to be like, okay, maybe I do need a better reaching thought today.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think the way that's set up, I think it's so important for generations to mix. You need a 19-year-old mixing with a 61-year-old because you're seeing different perspective. Both people, in a weird way, are kind of mentoring each other. The 61-year-old's giving advice they went through, but the 19-year-old's giving advice of like this new modern world of how people look at things. So, I mean, I know myself, my career and a lot of finding my inner happiness happened when I started getting older mentors around me and kind of being able to kind of show and learn more perspective from them, and at the same time open my world. And in her environment, it's the same way. Everybody's kind of on an equal playing field. She doesn't treat the 19-year-old different as she treats the 62-year-old CEO. Everybody's kind of the same in a room.
Bunch of equals.
Right.
That's amazing too, because that's what's going to garner the growth right there.
Exactly.
Making everyone feel like they're on an even playing field and look at the content, and we might all see it differently, but ultimately this is the same. There's the same goal to get to, which is to feel your best and to have successful relationships and not ruin them yourself.
Get out of your own way. How many of us, and again, I'm sure every one of us admit something stupid we all did that we got in our own way, and people do that all the time, especially artists, entrepreneurs. We have to be emotional people that have that kind of like driven, what I'm saying is correct kind of attitude, like you said earlier. So yeah, a lot of times we do get in our own way, and it takes a long time to start learning about like, maybe I should, you know, not say this. Maybe I should take my foot out of my mouth. Maybe not walk into that room.
Checking yourself and parenting yourself is not.
No.
And it's a practice. It's a practice to, and to find mentors who are practicing this their entire lives.
Yeah.
It's cheat codes, man. It's just completely amazing to me. You know, that the universe has given me this gift to rap, and it's brought me to rooms where people are being exactly as positive as I would appreciate and that I was looking for, you know.
When you talk about positivity, I love what you're trying to do. And again, I love the rap world. The music's great. People in it are great. And it's a great market. But like you said, you're trying to bring a different spin to this world. You're trying to bring a lot of positivity around it. Not that there's not that in there now, but what you're doing is fantastic. I mean, it's kind of putting like a new spin on a genre,
Right.
which I think you'll find your own niche within a niche, which is actually a really powerful thing. If you can kind of capitalize on that market like that, that's great. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you, brother. It will be fun, and it is already, because I'm still kind of in the beginning stages of shedding the old ideals, if you will, because there's definitely a machine that appreciates whatever content is coming out from major artists right now.
Yeah.
With a big bag behind it. So it's like, I understand, but I know that skill equals longevity. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Skill is longevity. So I think that the duality of me as a person, I always will touch on things that have happened to me growing up, or, things that, because like you said, we all have an ego at the end of the day that if we regulate ourselves with awareness. So, sometimes I love to go on a track and say crazy things that sound crazy to me, and it's hilarious, and, makes people laugh. And also things that are, I might be super serious about that might make somebody laugh.
Sure. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's one thing I keep thinking about. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and there's I've noticed this in my life. If I'm only listening, this is why I love music so much, and people like you, the artists that create the music. If I'm just listening to audiobooks, I'm only using my logical side of my brain. Something's missing. I'm not as happy as when I infuse some music within my day. Right. The music really is like a therapeutic thing for a lot of people.
Right. That's the vibration that comes through you, And I love audiobooks too, dude. It's one of my favorite things to sit and listen to.
Yeah.
YouTube has so many free books.
Incredible. I mean, you can learn. Knowledge is available for anybody who wants it in any sense of the word, right? And that's the beauty, like we talked about. This is the greatest time to be growing up, to be alive. What else can you say? I'm going to go on YouTube and listen to a new audiobook and have it like that. That
first time in the entire world that you can be so many different things at once.
Good.
Yeah. I'm a rapper that loves books, that also listens to audiobooks, that also learned everything on YouTube. But and it's like, it's funny to me how we can become more multifaceted by just listening or watching something.
Are you kidding me? I mean, you can literally learn how to build a house on YouTube, right? I mean, it's nuts. I watch people now. I remember sitting through these elongated editing classes and camera classes and all these things to learn,
doing notes and
everything. And now you go on YouTube and you're seeing a person literally touching what you should be doing. I'll just do it like that. And where you can say overstimulation. Now, if you're like a 6-year-old, I can see why there's younger people are exhausted nowadays, because you're just getting so much like bombarded with information. It's nonstop, which makes, again, what we do as artists, musicians, filmmakers, podcasters, whatever it is we're doing, there's so much out there now. You really have to be continually evolving your niche, or really hitting a target niche now, because you can just get lost in the shuffle at that point as well. I mean, when I was coming up as a filmmaker, it was like DV tapes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, you couldn't make a movie on a DV tape. It's going to look like a cheap thing. Nowadays, anybody can make a movie. It's going to look pretty good. I mean,
he's getting shot on iPhones.
You could take an iPhone, get a Filmic Pro, get something on there like that, even a native app.
Yeah.
Light it well, and it's going to look very good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to look really good. It's where, like, the average eye is not going to know the difference of what's going on. They actually have lenses you can get for your iPhone.
Yeah.
You can go out there now and get an anamorphic lens, an anamorphic adapter, and you're shooting anamorphic on an iPhone. Realistically, so take your iPhone, say you're a young kid, you're filmmaker coming up, 14 years old. Your parents buy you a phone, right? Well, now you can go out and buy one of the DJI gimbals. That's like $110 for a phone. You're right. Hey, you're not talking about the $3,000, $9,000 Steadicam. You're talking about a $100 item. Now, I'm going to go get an anamorphic lens for $120. For under $500, you just got a machine that can shoot in, top of the line 4K footage, beautiful thing. It makes real cut. Yeah, in your hand. It's amazing what you can do. And I mean, the music, everything, you can do everything on a phone. You can cut an album on a phone if you need to do that.
You can. I've met shows too where I'm at festivals and they're like, yeah, I did this on my phone.
That's incredible. Yeah.
I am mixing away like a madman watching YouTube for hours.
Isn't that crazy though? But what a world we live in, right? I mean, it's just so incredible. And it has to have that kind of collaboration now, because I think it made the value of the product go down a bit because there's so much of it, but it made the value of collaborating go up. Because now you can get everybody together to kind of combine forces to make something very special happen.
And to what you're saying, it's a saturated market. Pretty much everywhere you're looking now because of how accessible everything is. But ultimately, you know, your branding, what you bring value to. A lot of times I feel like when people love something, that's when you really skyrocket. That's when you see it. Because clearly you two love what you're doing and it's going crazy.
It starts taking a life of its own, kind of starts taking off, and it starts to work. I mean, talk about branding. You've done an incredible job so far branding yourself. No, really. It is so impressive what you've done through merchandising, through yourself, through your music. Tell us a little bit more about your brand, because I know so many people out there are going to be interested in your story.
Right.
Now tell us about the brand.
So the brand is Auspiddit. So, of course, it was my rap name growing up, but I wanted to create something that was going to be kind of like an umbrella for more things. So I started a clothing line. It's incredible, honestly, how I can take something that's so, to me, was minuscule. It was like, okay, you know, this is for the album, so let's make a T-shirt with my face on it or something. Like, instead of that, you know, I wanted to be like the guy that has like you have that on right now with the logo on the side. I wanted to do things like that. So now I have like blankets and, you know, different, I have robes now.
That's great.
That's great. It's crazy. One of my favorite things actually that we just made is, it's like a swimsuit for women. And it's not necessarily, so my Auspiddit logo is, you know, spit it is in my name because, you know, when you rap, you spit. So it's like, there's like little drips coming down from in the logo. But what I wanted to do was create a completely different one to give the regular, you know, that would go and just simply buy something because maybe they haven't heard the music. Maybe they just need something new.
Yeah.
So they're looking at a sweater and they're like, oh, it's a cool logo. I like that. I'm gonna wear it. And I didn't want anything that didn't look sleek. So my branding for recently has been just having a little sleek logo, quick, not anything that's going to be too much, something inside of the tag. And that's pretty much been my merchandise branding. And as far as me branding, as I'm becoming a different person, I know that that's what people are looking for. You want to put that into the forefront, you know? I feel like as an artist, you kind of take whatever you've seen and you mesh it together. And then once you put yourself to the forefront, that's you. So me is what people are looking for, but also I emphasize I'm you and you're me. We are a collective. So whatever you're looking at that has to do with me, you can find yourself in that, whether you're listening to my music, getting that sweater that whether you're proud of it or it just feels good to wear something comfortable for you. You know, I think that's really what my mission is when people are in my presence to feel awesome. When you listen to my music, I feel awesome. When you put on that sweater, I feel awesome. And then I'm branching off to other things. I think that one thing I really, really want to do is kind of what Flory does. You know, I would love to be I want to turn my concerts, I want to have big stadiums and turn them into half motivational speaking and half rapping.
Yeah, that
supporting performance.
Motivational singing.
Yeah.
Motivational singing, you know what I mean? And it's funny, I'm all spitting, but I sing a lot. So yeah, I think that's really what I think is special about my brand. I'm putting myself in it, and it's not just to monetize and to be lucrative. It will be. Yeah, and it is already. It's starting to happen. It's just putting yourself into it and love it. And I think that's what makes me love it so much. It's not selling a sweater to me. It's like, wow, somebody believes in the mission.
Your ambition, your positivity, it's incredible what you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, take all this away. How do you find time for Austin?
I schedule it in now.
Look at that. See, very smart.
My time management has changed completely because, you know, I am definitely one of those people who obsess over work. I love it that much that I will not eat, forget, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
So I've been scheduling in time to be like, okay, this day or this hour in the day.
Sure.
For me, or these hours, whatever the case is. So, you know, I love meditating. I definitely take time I do my best to eat as best as I can. I did just eat pancakes before I came here, but I want to make sure that I take some nature time. Even if it's as simple as like, okay, I'm going to read this book right now. You know, I like to use my alarms to kind of be like, all right, maybe if I am indulging in work, I'm going to do this until the alarm rings. And then once the alarm rings, just step away.
Yeah.
You know, I like what Pharrell's philosophy is. Pharrell always does this. He's like, I'm in the studio, kind of like a 9 to 5. When I'm done, I'm done. I don't bring anything home with me. I don't need to sit there and, you know, because I'll do that. I'll go home to my lady and I'll check this song out. Like, I've been mixing this the last 12 hours. Check this out. And then I'm still, processing and doing all that. And it's like, it takes away from me even sitting with her and being like, let's hang out. I want to be more present in my life, and I can't if I don't take the time to be present for me. And then it starts.
Here's a good example. Didn't he sing a song about being happy?
Yeah.
So I guess is take his advice. Actually happy as well.
It's true. I actually have a song called Happy as well. That's exactly that. Just trying to embody that more of, you can't be happy if you're constantly working. We're in that age where you need to work, you need to do things, you need to make sure that, you have food on the table, that you have a roof over your head. It's like those things rack people's brains so much, finances, and it's understandable. It's our survival. I think stepping away from survival and living in creation, what I'm creating to do, which is be creative, and then step away from it and look outside at other creation that was made. That's really what that's the kick for me.
Going back to what you said about being spiritual too, we're human beings, we're not human doings, right? So we have to just be present, and then you of course you're going to do the work that it takes to get your stuff where you need to be, but
right.
Balance.
It's funny. I find love in everything now. I think that's what keeps me, even while I'm working. What does things for me is like, okay, wow, I just touched this keyboard. I kind of just try to take away the whole like automated process that I do sometimes. And I just tend to be like, all right, well, I'm at the skill level now. I spent 13 years. I could make this beat quick and rap these vocals. And I'm like, cool. But sometimes I do it so much that I don't even enjoy it really, and I have to sit back and learn to love the process again. And then after I do that for myself and I kind of give myself that space to do so, I do it with everything. My entire day is full of, wow, I love this music, but I need to get away real quick because I'm excited to go sit in that other chair.
No, that's so smart and so well said, because, and I can relate to what you're saying. You do something for so long. You're sitting there, now again I have to go and, go through this distribution deal of a film or sit through an edit or do anything, and you're sitting there, it feels like a process and you're just clicking. It means nothing.
Right.
But when to somebody else that never did it before, imagine edit or music mixing, seeing something come together, it is a big deal.
Right.
And you do have to take a step back and appreciate those small moments that make this whole thing come together, because if you don't, why are you doing it?
Exactly.
Because it's the small moments that add up to the whole thing. If you're not enjoying the small moments, what's the point? But it is so easy to get lost in that and be, well, got to do this again, right? Another part of the process. But
exactly.
Somebody else, the first time they make that mix, their mind is like blown away.
They're like, wow, I did that. Crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I tend to like when I have some homies in the studio with me, because I'll make a beat quick and they're like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm like, how was this? Put this together, guys. Like, I figured this was in your lane. They're like, no, I don't know how you did that. And I think those are the moments that I'm like, okay. I really do kind of look over my stuff sometimes. I tend to just be like, well, you like music, you're making it. Like, and I think that's the thing sometimes that stops me from enjoying when I listen back to my music, because as an artist, right, you're always looking for not only what resonates with you, but you're like, I have an audience to cater to now. So you're like, all right, let me make sure that, that audience will enjoy this, right? But now I'm kind of in a place where, even though I want to make sure that they enjoy it, how did the process feel to me? Because how exactly, now when I listen to my music, it's not like, oh, this song is great. I see the time that I pressed that note and what it made me feel like. And I think that's why I really love this next project that's coming out, because I took time to be like, at this part, I was running around my room. Like, at this part, I was like stepping away from it, going outside and just looking up at the trees for a second and being like, what am I trying to get at here? Then you go back to the room and you're like, the magic happens after you give yourself a break. And it's like, wow, now when I listen back, I hear the breaks. I hear the this, I hear the that, or I see it as a vision. I used to just kind of not really see anything magical in the music as when I was 15, making it for the first time. So I think that my process has changed a bit over time, where I kind of have to get myself into I guess like a call and response with myself in a way, to be like, okay, buddy, you're here now. Enjoy it. Let's get present first. So I tend to like kind of sit in silence for a minute in the studio, just give myself like a good 10-minute period to just look at, the stuff around me, looking at this computer, being thankful for it, just being grateful for the things around me. And then all of a sudden it happens out of nowhere. And then I think that, and the end result, like you were saying, the journey is really the destination. I love the end result of the song. It's incredible. And that, I feel like, has its own journey too. You know, you drive in the car to it and you play it for the friend and you do that. It's amazing. But man, the creation process has, I've learned to make it that 15-year-old getting excited.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a different process as an adult for sure.
Yeah, so it's not being childish, it's being childlike.
Yeah, no, that's a huge difference. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
Honoring my inner child is something that I tend to do. I got Pokemon stuff sitting. I got my Nintendo Switch sitting right there in case I just want to, like, sometimes I'll just play and movies, you know.
Yeah.
You two are an incredible piece of the music industry, without whether you might see it that way or not, because every artist, major or not, they have a movie playing in the background, and it might be on mute, but they're creating soundtracks, things that feel like this is exciting, and a movie would put this, they would put this behind that, and I think that excitement is still new to me, because I have one song actually that's on Vampire Academy on Peacock.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And
That's great.
It's pretty cool. I want to go to a theater one day and be like, man.
Oh, and listen to that, right?
Yeah. It's right there. Like, so I think those times are really coming, but when they get here, am I gonna, you know, I don't want to get to that space where I'm suffering my successes, if you will.
No.
You know, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to sit in the theater and be like, that's cool. What else are we getting at? You know,
it's so easy to fall into that trap.
Right.
It is so easy to be miserable as you're doing something you're supposed to love. I mean, a lot of people are miserable in their regular lives, and people that are working jobs they don't want to be in. Why are we living in an industry of dreams, pursuing something that's so difficult, so hard, and not enjoying the process? It's kind of nuts, right? I mean, like, when you think about it, like, why go through all this just to be miserable at the end of the day? It's like, come on, enjoy that process. And you have to be a little bit nuts to be in this in the first place. So maybe that's why, you know. It's crazy when you think about it like that, right? And so many of us do. Because, yeah, I've been guilty of that. I sat in a theater and watched a movie I've done and been like, well, you know, it was okay.
I can do better.
Yeah.
So
you live with yourself. Yeah.
But
Well, it wasn't for people like us that make film, that make music. I mean, what would the person that is tired, you know, after a long day of work, they come home to decompress, to listen to music or TV. If we didn't do what we did, they would have nothing to listen to.
Right.
They wouldn't have a balance in their life. Yeah, but so are the people.
Right. And it's fun for us because, you know, we're letting our visions come to life, but ultimately, it's in service to all, you know?
No, I mean, again, we're all blessed to be in this industry of the arts. It's something so fascinating. It's so unique, you know, really in its own way. I think the arts is something that until you kind of get around it, it's so much mystique to it. People really don't understand the inner workings of it. I don't think even when you start getting into it, you don't understand the inner workings for years. Yeah, it's such a long time. And then every time you get to that next, you know, tier level,
right,
you're learning again. That's what people don't realize. In the arts, you know, if you're starting down at a micro budget, no budget kind of production, you're learning that world. Then you move up another tier, and now you got to relearn that world. Now you get signed to a major label. Well, it's a whole new set of rules you got to learn. Right. You get even bigger. There's a whole new set. It's an evolution that you're constantly learning, which I think people are afraid to do.
Change is inevitable, and people are so afraid of change because it's away from the comfortable. But how are you going to grow it and not comfortable? You really only grow in uncomfortable.
Yeah, the only way. Yeah, the only way. Otherwise, I mean, a lot of artists do, a lot of entrepreneurs do, small business owners, you plateau. You hit that point where, like, you kind of went as far as your natural talent takes you. You're not willing to adapt, and you're just kind of fail sideways.
Right. Well, like change is inevitable. Everything, world's constantly changing, right? Things are changing. So what I heard years ago is if I'm not moving forward towards my goals, dreams, or whatever it may be, I'm not standing still. I'm going backwards. That's the dangerous part. There's no complacency because you're going back.
Standing still is going.
There is.
Yeah. You get left behind eventually. Because, I mean, look at how much. I mean, when I started really moving in this business, it was DV tape. And now we're doing streaming and things all over the world like that. I mean, I remember one of the first films I streamed was maybe in 2013. And people looked, they're 14. They looked at me like my head was on backwards. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got a movie on iTunes and we're streaming it.
And they're like,
why would you do that? That literally, I was like, looked at me like I was like, I had a problem. And like, why? There's something wrong with you. Like, why would you ever do that? You didn't go theatrical? I was like, no, because the movie's like a low budget film, and this whole new thing is streaming. That's never gonna happen. And now look what happened. But like the evolution of what happened, to now again, like we talked about equipment. iPhones look good. I mean, that's incredible that you can do that now and make that. You need to be, like you said, moving forward or you're moving backwards, because if you're not adapting to the modern market, you're out. Hands down.
And I think that's where I have to bring my duality to music, because there's a market that, has a demand at the end of the day. And it's me having to put myself into, okay, like I'm gonna make this song about this. That's gonna be probably, more vulgar than the next song I'm gonna make.
Sure.
And I think that balance is I feel like it's the beauty of the human experience, to give that balance of yourself, to give that balance of, hey, like, it's okay to have negativity, but not in a way that's going to like be toxic. I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of just to show like, this is where you can come from. This is where you can learn from. And I feel like, to go back to the point you were saying about the steps that you take when you get to next levels, you have to reevaluate yourself every time you hit that next level. And I think that's the thing that really has been almost like a challenge for me in a way.
Sure.
Because it's new to come into my own more, to be able to feel like there is negativity in the art form that I'm loving, and not trying to play a part in it, because I know that little boy is listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And just how, like you were saying, you put your film on iTunes, and I was the little boy streaming things at firsthand, buying Comedy Central seasons on my iPod.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's just like that. You were right on the money. And the forward thinking is what's going to propel me next. Is, okay, if I'm thinking about what that child is listening to, if I'm thinking about where the technology is going next, you're always going to be on top of the game doing that by keeping the idea of, all right, there's a modern thing that's happening right now, and it's always going to, because it's forever changing. How can I not only adapt to that change, but what value am I going to bring to that change when it comes?
No, you're absolutely right. And I think one of the classic examples of that, if you remember back in 2008, 2009, when it was like Blockbuster versus Netflix. I remember I had both of their mail home services, right? Yeah. Both of them. Blockbuster they started doing it late, but they started doing it too. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Netflix started this streaming thing, and I was like on my buddy's house, and like, well, what is this? You can look at things.
Sliding through movies, like, what is this?
Yeah, and I was like, you just stream it. Like I was like, well, buy Blockbuster at the end of you. I mean, no forward thinking. You need to be on top of it. You need to be forward thinking. A lot of it may be adapting, and maybe sometimes forward thinking also means taking a step back.
Right.
People don't realize that. I mean, as you get better, right? Okay, can we create great movies? Can you create great music? Yes, we can all do that, right? Mm-hmm. But are we the proper person to market our things? Are we the proper person to be the salesman? Are we the proper? Maybe you have to hire a team around you. As you grow, it also means sometimes taking a step back from the things you may not be good at. And that's hard also. You have to give up a portion of your career. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I marketed it up to, millions of people look at my content.
Yeah, right.
Well, how do you get to 10 million, 20 million, 30 million? Maybe you need an expert to get you to that next kickover. It's a lot. You have to think about these things.
Right. I think a lot of times people, they would love to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
They would love to. I would love to do everything myself too, man. But honestly, I mean, granted, I do love unity and bringing people together.
Yeah.
So I think that there's value in that. But yeah, trying to do everything yourself is not necessarily going to be the thing to teach you.
Well, things come to mind. First of all, there's not enough time in the day to do everything you said.
Yeah.
Two is, am I the most skilled person to do all these jobs? Maybe I just focus on my strength and delegate out the jobs to people that can do those.
Absolutely. And if I want to build my skill in that, then I should be around people that are clearly better at it than me, so that way I can, because marketing it's a monster in itself.
It's a monster in itself. It's its own world. You got to understand, follow it. I mean, again, we'll use the example of sit down and actually look at analytics.
Yeah.
It's going to be like hieroglyphics to people. What am I looking at? You know what I mean? Most people probably don't even want to do it. They don't even know what it entails. You know what I mean? Like, well, I can market. Why? If you're not into like that kind of stuff and charts and graphs and understanding every analytical move you're making, why would you even do that undertaking?
There are passionate people about it, and you should entrust them.
Entrust them with that. Exactly. It doesn't mean to throw your business to anybody.
Right.
Like anybody. Interview people. Why do people have jobs and work for somebody else? Because some CEO said, I'm not doing everything. Right? Hired people around them to run a business. You have to ask yourself, do I want to run a small company or do I want to form my small company into a business entity? And that, there's nothing wrong with running a small company. If you want to have your brand and be like, you know what, I want my brand to be me, and I only want it to be me. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But you're going to plateau very quickly. If you want to go global, you're going to have to build a brand. A brand requires a lot of moving parts, which requires a lot of people to move those parts. So
because burnout is possible.
it's so easy.
It's so easy.
Well, and again, like a fish is not going to be good in a tree. A bird may not be good in the ocean, right? So you may be getting burned out and failing because you're doing the incorrect things. So like, well, now I just failed at marketing, or now I failed at being a cameraman, or now I failed at this, but you're not supposed to be doing that in the first place.
Right.
So you're getting like this burnout and this kind of depression because you're failing, but you're failing at like your 8th best thing.
Right.
You know, like where you should be failing at that. Like, relax at that, right? Yeah. Maybe concentrate on what I'm good at. Do that, and your successes will come much easier. I mean, that's just. Right. But again, is that easier said than done? Of course, it is. Yeah.
Once you start applying it, though, but see how easy it is for you to say it, it's because you feel it.
Yeah.
Due to the trial and error. So once you kind of feel that feeling of, oh, this is possible. I see it around me. I know that it can happen. I just have to make sure that I do whatever is necessary in order for me to get to that, whatever that next level is, whatever that speed.
No, I thank you for saying it like that, because it's 100% true. Learn that through trial and error. The main word there is error.
Right.
A lot of errors, a lot of mistakes, and you realize I don't want to keep making these mistakes. So for all the listeners, the reason we always like to talk like this is so you guys don't have to go through all those errors and mistakes and so, oh, I tried this and I messed up here and this set me back 2 years, or this set me, that happens. Right. If you can avoid a simple pitfall of saying, let me delegate, by all means, please do it.
Get discouraged,
No.
Because there's always going to be that thing that tries to put the brakes on you, and it might be on purpose sometimes. Sometimes you might need to take that step back.
Yeah, sure.
But ultimately, those things that stop you, make you look at it, make you feel like, okay, maybe this was a mistake, or maybe because the countless times I've given money to different things and it did nothing for me, that could have been the thing to stop me and be like, I don't want to be a rapper. This is terrible, but it's not. It's just as simple as you have, any business, it takes time to start up and to get it going. And if you don't have investors that are on the outside looking at you being like, I want to invest in your business, then you have to kind of go through those trials and tribulations in order to really see, one, if you're built for this. Two, if you really, really, not only are you built for it, but is this something that is going to resonate with your soul later down the road if you're doing this much work?
Yeah.
And then 3, it comes down to just perseverance, and pushing yourself past negative things or at least that feel negative, Losing some money, it sucks for a lot of people, but ultimately when you look past that, I lost something, there's something to gain out of everything out there. Like, even if you lost everything you've ever had, you got to just, you get to start over now.
Yeah.
That's how you have to look at it. So it's like, there's so many times I've been started over, fellas, and I find that to be such a beautiful thing. I used to hate it. I used to be like, wow, I have no money. I, don't have the materials to make the best sounding music. I see Buddy down the street and he's running up the streams right now. What am I doing wrong, right? And I think that instead of beating myself up and saying, you're wrong, why did you do this? I'm looking at it as okay, what did you really do wrong? How can we build to make this the right thing? Yeah. Or what direction? It's directional arrows to me. Bad things happen. I'm like, all right, this is not the thing. Maybe I should go this way. Or like you said, maybe I should ask that person that's doing it to pay for somebody's time to sit with me and explain to me maybe what I'm doing wrong. I think that's important. I love what Florida teaches too. Yes, I cut you off. But I love what Florida teaches too, how to not only give good feedback and to make it constructive and communicative, but how to take it.
Take
it, because man, the type of whoever's listening right now should know that the things that are being said are more than just like, hey, I want to be a filmmaker. Hey, I want to be an artist. Like, these are life jewels to essentially, when life kicks you, you don't have to add insult to injury,
Well, I like what you're saying. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off a little bit, but it's the questions you ask yourself, the type of question you ask yourself. Because, right, we're learning from our experiences. But if you say, oh, why did I fail at this? Oh, why? My brain will say, oh, because you didn't prepare, you didn't do this, you didn't do it. Give a bunch of answers why I didn't. Versus saying, how can I do it differently this time to be prepared or whatever. And then your brain will work on, okay, I could do this, that, the other thing, give you more positive responses.
Right. Being willing to do that, to want more, to be better. I think that there's a commonality in it's like a culture behind, I want to be better. I want to evolve, be good. But nobody knows where to really start, and it is internal.
No, you're 100% right. That was one of my favorite things about Flory's course. And again, we'll have links to the description below for everybody that's looking.
Right.
The first thing you have to do is take a test about yourself. Who are you? If you don't know yourself and how to analyze yourself, you can't be receptive to information or you can't give information.
Right.
You literally need to know yourself first. And like you said, how are you going to receive information? How are you going to receive help? How are you going to receive knowledge? If you don't know you or what you're trying to get out of something, it's all going to fall on deaf ears.
Right.
It's going to be like talking to like a 6-year-old. And they're going to put their fingers in their ears. And they're not listening. It's over. You know, like anything you say to that person is deaf. They're not hearing it. It's gone. Right. So you have to know yourself first. Am I even willing to receive information at this point? Because you may be so pulled away from the world. Maybe I have to grow myself first before I start trying to grow my business because I'm not ready yet for these responsibilities. So there's a lot of knowledge gained in that course, which is exciting. So I think that's very important.
Hands down. And I had to do that for myself. I had to take a step back and say, all right, I love this music. I'm advancing fast. Sounds good. But I'm not advancing as a person. I'm saying the same things. I'm having the same experiences. I wasn't happy inside for I want to say from like 18 until 23. I was just having a lot of internal battle with doubt, with not necessarily seeing myself as somebody that could be at a Drake level, for example, you know. And once you kind of look at what the journey is telling you, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
You know? And honestly, I don't care now anymore if I get to this huge, you know, superstardom level. I just know that as long as I stay on my mission and I apply all the necessary tools to, you know, garner successful relationships, I'll never have lack.
I'm sure if you ask Drake or any other artist that they've probably been through the same feelings as you're going through.
Hands down.
Yeah.
And it was I say it's the relationships because, you know, you could go bankrupt right now, but if you've created amazing relationships over time, you still have that place to stay at. You'll still have, you know, somebody that'll be like, you know what, here's the startup. Just figure it out, man. Like, you know, and I think that's the most important thing that, to me, I can take that with me. You know, if I go right now, I can take with me the fact that I sat on this couch with you guys, you know, and we had that conversation that made me feel good, you know, that I'll put into the rhymes when I go back to the pen, you know. So.
No, and I'm telling you, Austin, somebody with that type of attitude, any individual with that type of attitude that says, I don't care, that's a dangerous person, and dangerous in a good way,
right,
where nothing's going to stop that person. You're not going to be the lights, the glamour, all that. You're not going to be sidetracked. You understand what it means to be a great person now and move your life forward in the direction that you want to go in. The blinders to all the distractions are now up, and all this stuff can't pull you away from where you're truly meant to be.
Right.
When you can be that person, now you got something going on in life, in any direction, no matter what you are. It could be in a relationship, it could be with your kids, your wife, your husband, business. Once you have that on, you're something very special, and that's what we all try to strive to be. It's fantastic that you find yourself there right now. That says a lot about you as a person. That's fantastic.
You guys are awesome.
No, I was going to say, I don't know how you get better from there, right? I mean, really, man, I think having you on was a pleasure. Are you kidding me? Your mindset, your skill set, everything about you is fantastic, really. You're a motivational guy to be around. You're somebody that people should aspire to be like, one, in your professional career, but two, as a human being. I'm glad I get to see your work. I'm more glad I get to know you as a person. Really.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
Likewise. Thank you.
I mean, I think it's fantastic. Anything you want to say about the album last? I mean, we're going to have links to the descriptions to all of his social media below. We're going to have the album. It's coming out this Friday, actually. So I think most likely this will be out. I think we're going to be out the week after your album comes in. So everybody, we're going to have links where you can get this below. Everybody, make sure to support Seven. We'll have links to it on all our social media sites. Anything else you want to say to the people listening?
Yeah, the album 7, it is coming out November 17th, exclusively produced by Carlisio Keys. I appreciate him. I appreciate you fellas for having me. Any platform that I've ever been on, I always like to thank not only the hosts, but I like to thank the universe for making this happen because that's why we're sitting here. So
That's right.
That's all I got.
I agree. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. This has been a fantastic show. Again, I'm Joe Gawalis.
Chris Victor.
We have been so excited. Thank you so much for coming on, brother. This has been a great show. Again, this is the Live Your Dreams podcast. We are the dreamers, and we make the world go around. So please, again, we're going to be on Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, iHeartRadio, everywhere you get your podcast. Make sure we will have all the links in the description below. 7 coming out November 17th, correct?
Yes, sir.
We are very excited for that one. We'll make sure to promote it all over the place. And thanks so much for coming on. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.